On today's show, we head to the Temple of Speed, the legendary circuit of Monza in Italy, as the professionals and amateurs face off in race 4 of the Hankook 24-hour series. Then, the Mazda RX-8s, Queensland Tourers, Legend Cars Australia and the TA2 Muscle Cars take to Morgan Park in Queensland for round 4 of the Hi-Tec Oil Super Series. This is Speedweek.
Hello everybody, I'm John Hindorf, welcoming you to another great round of the Hankook 24-hour series of 2023. This is the 4th race of the season, and this time the teams and drivers head to the north of Italy to the Autodromo Nazionale Monza in the metropolitan region of Milan. The grid, as ever, open to passionate amateur drivers as well as top-class professional racers. They'll be racing bumper to bumper, they're all in it together and therefore share the same challenges. This unique atmosphere, and especially the diverse range of skills and personalities, makes this series feel very special. With Mugello and Spa behind us, Monza marks the midway point of the European series. Breathtaking racetracks like the Circuit of Estoril just off the Atlantic Ocean coast and the famous Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya await the drivers in the coming weeks. Autodromo Nazionale Monza, La Pista Magica, the Temple of Speed, all names for one of the most legendary circuits on the planet, beloved by drivers and fans. That, of course, is for good reason. The circuit has long, straight, crafty chicanes, lots of overtaking opportunities, and above all, lots of speed. There has been racing here since 1922, making it one of the oldest Formula One tracks. A lot has changed in the meantime, of course. One thing hasn't, it's still about top speed. The drivers are at full throttle for around about 3/4 of the 5.8 kilometre or just over 3.5 mile circuit.
For me, the circuit is pretty cool. So Creventic, they have a lot of good circuits in their calendar 2023. I hope they do the same next year. I personally love Monza with the long straights and hard braking zones. Makes it interesting.
You know, historically, as you said, I'm an old fart these days. I used to come here and run Formula 3 in the late 80s. So I obviously have, great memories from here. And to come back here and run, in a GT car, the 992 car, Cup car is a fantastic car that Porsche have built. And, we've been here also in the LMP2 cars and GTE cars over the last 10 years. So the track is nothing new to me, but it's always a new challenge, new tires, new series, new cars. So it's really exciting to be back here with Creventic, and they put in a really good show on and, good competition. So it's really exciting and fun to be here with Chrome Racing.
Wow, winning at this Temple of Speed. Who doesn't want that, right?
Shane Lewis has raced at all the major tracks around the world. Incredibly, not here at Monza. So he can't wait to get into the car and tackle this speed ball.
As we go through turn 1, the first thing that I see at this slow speed we're going is the original Monza bank track. I wish that I would have had the opportunity a long time ago to be able to drive that, because from there to the speed of Monza, this place has got just amazing history. I think still to this day the fastest average lap speed was at Juan Pablo Montoya set an F1 car. It just doesn't get faster than this place. I'm so glad we came back, because this is actually my first time to race Monza. So yes, we were here, we were all set up, and then during that time the other drivers couldn't get in the country. Everything going on with COVID and all the restrictions, and I was the only driver that made it, so obviously we couldn't do the race. So now, yes, makes this super special. I was very disappointed a couple years ago, so I'm so glad we're back. We did the track walk. We practiced first, and then they opened it up for a track walk for all the teams. And literally we walked the racetrack. And even as we go into the first Lesmo corner, you don't realize how much banking is here. When you're at speed really traveling fast, you don't see the camber or the banking until you actually do it at a slower speed. I'm not much into walking a racetrack anymore, but now as I walked it, even coming up to turn 7, so the second part of the Lesmo corners, you don't realize that if you miss the apex by just a little bit, like right here, you see as you come down here, down to the inside, you need to be perfectly next to it, and that'll just take it all the way out there. So I did get a chance to see the elevation changes, because there's a lot more. You look at it, when you're at speed or like an onboard camera, it looks flat, completely flat. But there's a lot more to this place. A lot more elevation, certain parts of the camber where the curbs go, yeah, there's a lot to it.
Lots of history, a challenging track layout and high top speeds, plus a beautiful parkland setting really makes Monza special. Coming out the final corner to start the lap, the start-finish straight, cars, engines pushing very hard indeed. Pick your braking spot for the first chicane. The Variante di Rettifiglio, 90 right, then plus 90 left. It's actually a little bit tighter. Use the curb on the exit to the Curva Baiasono, or the Curva Grande. You can accelerate all the way through this, even with the cars that we're racing here this weekend. You're building up speed, and again, an opportunity for overtaking coming up at the second chicane, the Della Roggia chicane. It's left-right, this one, and the first part is a little tighter than the second. Easily get sucked into braking too late. Watch the exit. There's a gravel trap there for the unwary. A short straight, so picking up speed again before turns 6 and 7. This is the Lesmo curbs. First one a little bit tricky. Almost looks like it narrows on the exit. It doesn't really, but it feels that way because of the proximity of the woodland. Then out of turn 7, the second Lesmo, and accelerate through the tiny little left kink at Seraglio towards Variante Escari. Left, right, left. Take a bit of curb in the middle, but what's more important is your exit speed as you come onto the back straight. Pits are on your right here, and this is where the top speed on the whole track is achieved. The last corner is one of the corners in world motorsport, the Parabolica, and it's super important because it controls your speed down the front straight. And whilst Lewis Hamilton's lap record of 1 minute 18 won't be in danger this weekend, anything around 1 minute 50 would be a good time. Time to get serious as we head towards qualifying, as usual, divided into 3 parts of 15 minutes each. 3 drivers per team out on the track, pushing their cars to the limit to put the fastest times in. Best lap per driver counts, and then the fastest average lap time will decide which team is on pole position. Modified just a bit this weekend. The teams who are running in GT4 and TCR are competing for an overall GT-TC honours in a bid to further spice up competition. In GT-TC, the all-Korean team of Atlas BX Motorsport in their chrome silver Mercedes AMG, the number 403 car, the fastest GT4 team on the grid. But there's a surprise here at Monza this weekend. All 3 drivers under 2 minutes for the only TCR team on the grid. Hongard Motorsport and their Cupra are pole in the combined GT-TC division, 49 thousandths ahead of Atlas BX Motorsport.
Oh, it feels great. We know that for this weekend we had to race with the GT4s, but it's nice to see that we're able to beat them, so it's looked promising for the race.
Now for the GT classes, and the 992 Porsche GT3 Cup cars has 10 entries. It's extremely competitive as usual. However, for the winners of the last race of Mugello Villi Motorsport by EB Motors, the qualifying hasn't gone to plan at all. Fabrizio Broggi in Q1 hitting the wall, and they can't finish the qualifying. They'll have to start the race tomorrow from the back of the 992 class. We're used to seeing many ambitious gentleman racers, but for the Q1 Porsche team, they've drafted in a legend of motorsport, former Formula One driver Rubens Barrichello. He's got lots of great memories about the track here in Monza.
It's a different story, isn't it? I know the racetrack very much. I love this racetrack, and in fact, we were looking. I think the record it still seems to be mine from the V10s in 2004. So this is an unbelievable thing. Obviously now with GTs, I'm gaining more experience with that. I raced the stock cars in Brazil, which don't have ABS or traction control and so on. But I love these cars, and it's good to be doing with friends. I think the future is for me to come back with my kids, with Fernando and Eduardo. I hope you guys watching. Love you guys. Hope that we can do this race sometime soon together.
Well, you'd expect that Rubens would know this circuit like the back of his hand, but a change in car and his braking points moving. He's off the track at Ascari. Fortunately, nothing serious, and the Q1 track racing team can continue in the qualifying session. Pole position in 992 class grabbed by a really interesting team, Toro Racing by HRT Performance, the 930 Porsche. This team from China currently leading the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia Series, with pro driver Adam Christodoulou joining 3 Chinese teammates, certainly in the mix for victory here in Monza. At the front of the GT class, the number 21 Audi took the victory in Mugello. Last time we were in Italy, but Haas RT had a race to forget in Spa. Coming to the end of the qualifying session, and the team from Antigua and Barbuda in the lead. Will it be enough to grab pole position? Robert Renard in the Herbeth Motorsport Porsche on one final quick lap. He could snatch the pole from Haas RT. The tension is palpable. He's pushing the pedal to the metal, coming through the final corner. And as the checkered flag is flying, that was close. Robert Renard, Herbeth Motorsport, 47 thousandths of a second faster than Haas RT. Pole position for Herbeth Motorsport.
It's great. I know it was close in between us and the Audi, so I had to push to the end. So luckily I got a really good lap in the end. Wasn't expecting a pole position now, but very happy now.
It's race day at Monza. Tension is rising among the teams and drivers. 6.5 hours today. Alfred Renard at the front of the grid.
I think we're ready for a good race today and tomorrow, but it's 12 hours, and let's see how we can finish this race. First of all, we just I think we need to take care of the tires, especially in the first 2 stints, to see how the derogation of the tire is, that we don't get a puncture. This is the most important, because otherwise you lose so much time at the pit stop. Yeah, I think this is the goal for the complete race.
Toro Racing by HRT Performance are the pole sitters in the 992 class, and they have a plan for the race.
Yeah, good. Obviously starting in the best position. Martin's going first, and yeah, we've got a plan for the race, so we just need to make sure we stay out of trouble for turn 1. And then I think the rest is just about yeah, just putting in quick times and making sure everything goes well.
A fabulous run to pole position in the combined GT-TC class for Holmgard Motorsport, ahead of all the GT4 cars.
That was a pole, for sure. We don't expect that at all. So when they pull it off and make it first, it was pretty amazing.
Not much rest for the mechanics of Vili Motorsport by EB Motors after the crash in Q1 yesterday.
Yes, they had a long night. They stayed to repair the car. They did an amazing job. I thank you to all of them. They did an amazing job, and now we want to fight for the win. I hope Fabrizio will be ready for Estoril. Now it's not ready because of the accident, but we hope he will be well for the Estoril, and we can still fight for the championship. Yeah, the race is long. Today the objective is to stay on the same lap with the first, and then tomorrow we will see what we can do.
It's been an awful start to the weekend for the German 9 und 11 racing team. A crucial spare part had to be shipped from Germany after they couldn't take part in qualifying. It arrived yesterday evening, and the teams had a long night to get the car ready for racing today.
Yeah, like we had problems yesterday starting, that the engine doesn't want to work. So the team did a great job overnight and fixed the car. They woke up in the morning at, I think, 4 a.m. and at 8 a.m. the car was ready to go. So unfortunately, I didn't get to drive any laps yesterday, so yeah, this is going to be my first lap here at Monza.
Porsche, Audi, Mercedes and BMW, 4 different German manufacturers in the first 2 rows. Herbuth Motorsport and Haas RT on row 1. Behind them, CP Racing and the BMW Italia Ducato Racing. 5th and 6th on the 3rd row, it's Land Motorsport and Scherer Sport PHX. And on the 4th row, E2P Racing and Kessel Racing. Cars are rolling on the warm-up lap. 6.5 hours of racing today, 5.5 tomorrow, and we're just moments away from the green flag. For gentlemen drivers and seasoned professionals alike, the start of the race is exciting and maybe a few butterflies. 12 hours to complete before the final checkered flag tomorrow. Coming down, the lights are out and we're racing. Decent start from Herbuth and the Porsche. Renault covering the inside there. He must feel under pressure. Max Hofer for Haas RT in the middle. Down the inside, CP Racing in the Mercedes, but it's the Italian BMW that tries to go through there. And a great start for William Free-To-Air of BMW Italia Ducato Racing from 4th up into 2nd. Further back, everyone fuddling through the first chicane. Max Edelhoff picking up speed through Curva Grande. Good start by the Herbuth Porsche. BMW in 2nd, then CP Racing in 3rd. Haas RT in 4th in the first of the Audis. Rest of the cars streaming through, including the bright orange Vortex. Renault and Frère taking a little bit of a gap, and there's the battle further back now. The 85 CP Racing car under pressure from Hofer Racing. That Mercedes AMG having to keep to the middle of the road into Ascari for the first time. 3rd, 4th and 5th absolutely together. Across the line at the end of the first lap, and here comes the BMW. Goes to the lead, and Renault can't hold him back. BMW leads from Porsche, and a new 3rd place as well, as Haas RT's gone ahead of Charles Esplanade.
We are really happy. It's our first race here, and we are doing very well leading the race. Wina is a really good driver. He made a huge jump start. No, he from 4th to 2nd, and now he's 1st. So the car is doing really well. Ducato Racing is also doing a great job. It's 12 hours race, a long time to go, but we are really happy at the moment, and to be here in Monza. It's our first time here, so we are really happy to enjoy the series.
It's the usual ding-dong battle from the start of the race in the 992 Cup class. Each of the Porsches fighting for every inch that they have on the track. Battle down at the 2nd chicane, and the Toro 930 has to go onto the green. Battle for 4th position is bubbling up nicely. AMG number 85, the CP Racing car, tracked by 2 Audis. Scherer PHX and the blue and white Land car comes to the outside, going down into the first chicane. That's a very brave manoeuvre if you can pull it off, but Max Edelhoff has pulled it off and goes into 5th position. Rubens Barrichello in the dark purple 950 Cup car, battling in the midfield. He's got some Porsche specialists around him. In GTX, Lionel Amarouche in the orange Vortex, right in the wheel tracks of class leader Andreas Bukovicius. V8 in the orange car versus V10 in the black and red machine. The Huracan Super Trofeo prevailing at the moment for the Lithuanian RD Science team. Oh, hang on a second, there's problems for the GTX leader. It has slowed down, this Italian car heading back to the pits. Left rear puncture, unplanned pit stop for them. GTX lead now in the hands of the Vortex V18 from France. At the front of the field, Haas RT were challenging for second position, but this is not a planned pit stop for them either. It's another left rear tyre problem, this time for the Audi.
Yeah, suddenly I felt like big vibrations on the left rear, and as we are struggling already the whole weekend with like tyre failures, I checked the pressure during the lap, and at one point it just quickly dropped, and I called the team, maybe we should pit, chance of a slow puncture, which was happening. So yeah, not the best case, but we can be lucky or happy that we still managed it without any loss into the pits.
The leader and their driver, William Free-To-Air, doing a great job at the moment. 1 minute 50 and under. He's pulling away from Herberth Motorsport, and that takes some doing. Oh, problem for a Porsche. Going very slowly indeed. That's just after the second Lesmo. It's HRT Performance, the 967 car, and I think that's dead stick. Code 60 is called for. Now this is like a virtual safety car. 60 kilometers an hour speed limit, no overtaking. That'll give the marshals a chance to recover that machine. Leaders taking the opportunity to come in and pit. Well, actually not all of them, because the E2P Porsche has stayed out and therefore now leads the motor race. This is a third different leader in just the first 27 laps. Checking in now with the 992 category. Veely Motorsport guys are on a bit of a run. Last position is where they started. They're now up into fourth. Sergei Nicolai putting a lot of pressure on Luke Breukers in the 909 Red Camel. They're battling for 8th position overall. Out through De La Rogia. Oh, a little mistake by Luke. Maybe just dropped the left-hand side Hankook tyres into the gravel, and Nicolai goes through. That's third position for Veely Motorsport by EB Motors. So in this first 1.5 hours here at Monza, different pit strategies have seen a lot of changes. CP Racing now leading the pack. Charles Esplanade with a great double stint. The 54-year-old American motorsports talent, benefiting from his huge experience in endurance racing. Back in 1998, he drove the pace car in the inaugural Petit Le Mans race in Atlanta. I remember that, I was there. CP Racing taking fuel, and that means we have another new leader. And it's a 992 Cup Class Porsche, the Austrian Neuhofer Rennsport team, built up around Porsche Carrera Cup Asia driver Martin Raginger. Martin, a bit of a Nürburgring specialist as well.
Yeah, well, our team is doing an amazing job this weekend, all weekend. Car is fantastic. Me and Felix did 2 good first stints. And obviously now we try to stay in the rhythm, doing consistent lap times. No, I think the main goal always in endurance racing is to stay in the lead lap, to be competitive and try to bring us in a good position for the last stint tomorrow, obviously. And this is only possible if you're in the same lap. So I think this is our main goal, to maintain there and try to push at the end as hard as we can.
Wasn't a great start for the Audi number 21 from Haas RT. That early pit stop dropped them right back. They fought their way up into second with Mathieu Detré driving it very hard indeed. Slightly misleading position though, because they owe us a pit stop. And as they come in for their third, that'll drop them down into the 20s here at Monza.
Yeah, the stint was good. I had no problem. We had a puncture at the very beginning of the race, so now we just have to push and wait for the mistake for the other guys. So, but my stint was good, no problem.
Well, I hope you've been taking notes in this first 2.5 hours and 87 laps. Lots of different leads, changes. Scherer Sport PHX, the number 1 car, in the lead for the first time. Elia Earhart back in after taking the start. This is his second stint in the car. A little bit further up the road, but a few laps down, the green and red Porsche GT3 Cup MR machine, the German 911 racing team. Hadn't been going well for them in Monza. They missed the qualifying and they're not getting the best out the tyres.
Yeah, like after Georg is now in the car, and after him I will do my second stint. We have a bit of problems with the tires because the track seems to be quite, doesn't seem too good to the tires, so yeah, we have to see.
4 hours into the race, and after 115 laps, the BMW Italia Ducato Racing has cycled back to the lead ahead of CP Racing in second, Share Sport and their Audi in third, and Haas RT in fourth position. Herbert Motorsport in fifth, E2P Racing, the two Porsches there, fifth and sixth. Red Ant Racing, the first of the 911 Cup class cars, in seventh. Kessel Racing Ferrari in eighth. The first 5 cars still on the lead lap, with the others now laps down. Just a third of the race done, however, so a lot of racing still to come. It's been a good race so far for the multicoloured 955 Porsche Carrera Cup class machine from EB and Vili. They had a long night repairing the car after the crash from Fabrizio Brogi. Sabina De Castro and Sergio Nicolai have fought their way back. They're leading. They need to defend that position at least till the end of this Saturday part of the race. High top speeds here at Monza puts a huge strain on the tyres, especially the rear left slick. A few teams now struggling with one or more punctures. Toro Racing by HRT Performance, 3 rear left tyres have gone on them so far.
We're really not sure. It's one of those, like, we had a great day the first few days, and then as soon as we put the new tyre on during testing, we ended up with 2 punctures, and so we've adjusted the setup accordingly. And then yesterday, before qualifying, we decided, right, what we'll do is we'll go out and we'll just ease a bunch of, like, a few sets of tyres into it. Just we're thinking maybe this might help, but yeah, the 4th puncture, like, I don't know, something's not right. What we think is that it's a temperature-related thing. Obviously, Monza being such a high-speed circuit.
So setup and tyre management, particularly on your outlaps, really important here to get longevity from the tyres. Red Ant Racing Team, 903. No major problems for them so far. Leading the 992 class now, Red Camel Jordan.nl and Vili Motorsports by EB Motors trying to chase them down. Well, EB being back in the pits due to a puncture. RD Signs from Lithuania leading the GTX class. 45 seconds back to 9 Elf Racing and their Porsche. Team Atlas BX have stayed out of trouble and leading the GT4 class. The Bugira ZM Racing car not that far behind though. Danish team Holmgaard Motorsports, lonely in the TCE class, literally a class of one. However, amazingly, with their Cooper Leon competition, they are ahead in the combined GT-TC class, introduced for the first time here in Monza. That means they're ahead of what should be stronger and faster GT4 cars. Not just the tyres that take a pounding here at Monza, the brakes play a vital role. Just 5.5 hours in, and we're already seeing brake changes. This might be a little bit early, but the teams want to get this done before going into Parc Fermé tonight after the first part of the race. Means they can pick up the pace tomorrow. Well, we've got a definite top 3 emerging here. Elliot Earhart on a 3rd stint today in the Audi Share Sport PHX machine. Fast lap time, slick pit stops, no trouble with the tyres, leads the motor race. In second, it's Haas RT. This Audi also running like clockwork. More than 150 laps under the Hankook tyres now. Mathieu Dutrey back behind the wheel, and he's about a second a lap faster than the leader. Now the gap down to 15 seconds. Herbert Motorsport a lap down in 3rd. They're on a slightly different strategy. They might be looking for a code 60 in the last hour, but they still have a chance to win this race tomorrow, or at least get on the lead lap tonight. Pretty far back in the field, Rubens Barrichello out on his own at the moment, sits in 19th position. More problems with the rear left for this team. Q1 Track Racing, several punctures, sitting in second to last position in the 992 class. A pretty unusual situation for the former Ferrari Formula One driver. That's down at the first chicane. There's been a very big accident for the Vortex. Lionel Amarouche was driving that car. There's been contact. Oh, there's been contact with the Camel, the red Camels. Oh, dear me. There's been a coming together there. Luke Breukers is out of the car. Lionel Amarouche as well. And an apology from Lionel to Luke there. Must have thought it was his mistake. There's going to be a lot of work for both of these team mechanics if we're going to see either of these cars back out on the track. Now, this has worked perfectly for Herbert Motorsport. They'll get almost a free pit stop, new tyres and half a tank of fuel before we restart tomorrow. Red Ant Racing back in the class lead, and they've got a special driver, 16-year-old Kay Rayatz.
This is my second race. I have done one race in Spa, the Belka race. It was a 3-hour race where I also did 1 hour 14. So this is my second really race in the car.
Last few minutes of day one. Let's have a look at the class leaders. 9 on Elf Racing, the 719 started from the back of the GTX class. They're leading ahead of the RD Sainz Lamborghini and the Vortex V8. By the way, the French mechanics of that bright orange Vortex machine got the car back on track in just 37 minutes after the accident at the first chicane. In GT4, it's Atlas BX Motorsport, the 403, the Chrome AMG GT4. 3 drivers there have raced well but calmly. Team Holmgard Motorsport, the 102, finishing the first part of the race today. Top of the TCE class and leading the GT/TC class. Nice job for them. Neuhofer Rennsport leading the 992 category now because of that late pit stop from Red Ant Racing. Got to say, right at the front of the field, Scherer Sport PHX are impressing us all. Not a brilliant start to the race, but they are in the top 3. And Pierre Caffer has plenty of drive time. Here's their pro driver. I think we'll see a lot of him tomorrow. Michael Doppelmayr bringing the car to the checkered flag. Nothing is over right now. There's 5.5 hours of tough racing ahead for the drivers, teams and cars tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fantastic, first of all, and thanks to the whole crew. They have done an amazing job, and also to my teammates. It was a pleasure to drive the Audi today, because in every stage or a single lap, I enjoyed to drive the Audi R8 Evo 2, and as you said, it's halfway through now. Tomorrow is another important race. For us, it has been 2 difficult races so far. And we are really pleased that we have no contact, everything is smooth, no tire puncture, as we have seen that a couple of cars struggled today. We put a lot of effort the last couple of days to find a setup which is really nice to the tire, and I have to say the partnership with Hankook is great, and also the whole series, a 24-hour race. It's nice to see how Creventic is improving and developing, and I'm really looking forward for tomorrow.
It's been a brilliant Saturday for Holmgard Motorsport. They'll start Sunday as leader of TCE and the combined GT/TC class.
We're quite happy. We were a bit unlucky with the code 60 and the brake change, but I think we are in a good position for tomorrow, and we're 1 lap behind the leader, but I think they also had the need to do a brake change before the checker flag, so we'll see. It's like David versus Goliath, and it's cool to compete against the bigger cars, but of course we should see the more TCR cars. That's been the most fun, of course.
A breathless Saturday leaves us with the following results as we get ready for the end of the race tomorrow. Sheriff Sport PHX lead ahead of Herbert Motorsport. Those two, the only 2 teams on the lead lap. 1 lap further back, BMW Italia Ceccato Racing and Haas RT in 4th. E2P in 5th, CP in 6th, Kessel in 7th. What a great 8th position for Neuhofer Rennsport in GTX. Gaps between the teams will be closed up on the restart, so the 2 leading teams literally start side by side and from 0 tomorrow. So the cars, drivers and hopefully the mechanics get a little rest overnight and maybe recharge for the final run to the checkered flag tomorrow as silence settles in the woods around Monza. Buongiorno tutti and welcome to Sunday. It's the run to the final checkered flag here at Monza. A victory here at the high-speed circuit, something unforgettable. There'll be plenty of tension among the drivers, the teams and the families. And by the way, just a reminder, if you haven't had permission, you're not allowed to work on the cars overnight. If you do, 10-lap penalty. Also no refueling either. Peter Mackay is down on the grid. Let's hear from some of the drivers.
Yeah, I'm feeling very good. It was good yesterday, the race. We're starting from P6 to P1, and yeah, now we will see. It's an endurance race. You need luck, and you need a good team and a good driver lineup, and I think it's matching, and all three parts did a very good job yesterday, and that's the result of it.
Herbert Motorsport will restart right next to Sport PHX on the grid, so a great chance of winning here.
Yes, we're pretty confident because we have a full car. This was more important for us at this point. Now we are full, we have good tires on the car and enough driving time left. So.
Second row of the grid, fourth position, but a lap down on the two leaders. Max Hoffer in the Haas RT Audi.
Yeah, weather is good. It was raining during the night, so yeah. But now it looks good and I can't be happier to be starting in P4 again. As you said, yesterday wasn't that easy, but we have still 5.5 hours to go, so a lot can happen, especially with the tire issues, so we just need a clean race and a bit of luck today.
Not an ideal Saturday for CP Racing, but they always have a smile on their faces.
Yeah, kind of the same deal. You know, we got unlucky on a couple Code 60s, and then that puncture happened at the wrong place where it took a long time. Some of the other guys we know had some punctures, but they were able to get in. And, you know, it's racing. There's a lot of luck involved, and hopefully we have a little better luck today.
Formation lap here at Monza on Sunday. We'll find out who will stand on top of the famous podium here in about 5.5 hours' time. Right, quick reminder, Sport PHX and Herbert Motorsport are the only two cars on the lead lap. The BMW of Ducato Racing and the Audi of Haas RT are 1 lap behind. Red lights are out and we are racing again here in Italy. Great start from the Audi and cutting across immediately to cover from the Herbert Porsche down the inside as yesterday. That BMW is a quick starter, almost squeezing up into second, doesn't quite get as good a start as yesterday when they went from 4th to 2nd. But a picture book start from our pole sitter today. The Audi is pulling away through the Curva Grande. Side-by-side action. Haas RT trying to go to the left. That's round the outside. Coming into the second chicane. Has the position surely and will take it. Yes, it does. Haas RT then up to 3rd in behind Herbert. This is important. Alfred Renard, Herbert Motorsport. The BMW's gone through, but of course the Porsche's still in 2nd. The BMW just unlapping itself there. 3rd and 4th place. Side-by-side action. This is a battle for position down into the first chicane, and Haas once again taking that position. 10 minutes into the race here on Sunday, and those who didn't stop yesterday are in, including the GTX and GT4 class leaders, 900 Elf Racing in the green and red Porsche, and Atlas BX Motorsport. They wanted track position yesterday, and that meant an early pit stop this morning. They knew this was going to happen. Elia Earhart doing everything right so far, defending the lead. Great lap time, staying out of any trouble. Brilliant job. Still first position for Sport PHX. Oh, was that a touch there from the Herbert Porsche on the back of the BMW? Alfred Renard pushing really hard. Oh yeah, there was a little love tap there. Remember that BMW is a lap behind on the start-finish straight. Here are the leading group. Sport is in 1st. Herbert Motorsport, the 4th car in line, in 2nd. And then the battle for 3rd, if that makes sense. Haas RT and BMW Italia Ducato Racing. Still a lap down to the overall leader. Renard charging, but he's not gaining on Elia Earhart. Pit stop for the purple Porsche. This is Rubens Barrichello and the Q1 Track Racing team. They're having to cut something off the back of the car on the left-hand side. I'm not sure they were ready for this work.
No, I had a puncture. And the team was not prepared. So I had a puncture. I stay in the fuel station. There was nobody from the team. I think he's taking a nap. And then I stopped on the penalty because of a Code 6 infringement yesterday. There was nobody there, so we didn't take the penalty. And I came in, and he said, "Oh, it was too late." So I've asked, "Do you want me to go one lap round with a tire exploded, so you guys get ready?" So it's a bit of a situation where we lost too much because of the decisions taken.
So with Haas RT and BMW Italia Ceccato Racing having made their pit stops, there's now no cars between the dark grey Porsche in second and the black and yellow Audi in the lead. Now, does this mean Alfred Renard can close in? He'll certainly be trying. And yes, the gap is coming down. Just 2.7 seconds now.
I think it's getting even more hotter today. So first stint was okay. So we're missing a bit straight line speed. So on braking we are really good, but yeah. Our disadvantage is at the moment the straight line speed. It makes it really hard to overtake somebody else. And
in the battle for third overall, and after the pit stops, Belgian Mathieu Dutré is back behind the wheel of the Audi R8 LMS GT3. The Haas car looks good, but if we know anything about Sandrine Haas, she's never satisfied unless she's leading.
Well, not too bad, but of course we'd rather be first than third. So now it's still 4 hours and a bit to go. So hopefully we'll be on a better place later on.
In the 992 Porsche Cup class, a couple of changes after the restart there, but it's Neuhofer Rennsport who seem to be on a decent strategy. Let's not forget Red Ant Racing though, they're still on the lead lap. At the front of the field, no real changes. The number one, Scherer Sport PHX, almost in cruise mode now. Herbert Motorsports still trying to chase them down, but remember, they saved time for pro driver Pierre Caffer. He's in the car now, and he is increasing the gap lap by lap. So let's check the standings with 2/3 of the race completed. Scherer Sport PHX in the lead ahead of Herbert Motorsport and the Porsche in second. In third, it's Haas RT ahead of CP Racing in the battle for third and fourth. Then the BMW from the Italia Ceccato Racing team. Red Ant are at the top of 992 now, ahead of Neuhofer Racing, with Kessel Racing and their Ferrari in 8th position. Drama for Toro and the 930. No, don't do that. You're going to go into the gravel trap. That could beach the car. A spin on the far side of the circuit, but it's actually been made worse, and that means a code 60, second of the day. Now, this is going to work better for some cars and drivers than others, and one that will benefit is CP Racing. They didn't get the rub of the green, or perhaps I should say the rub of the purple yesterday. Charles Espelab will have to get out the car. He's been almost 2 hours driving there, and this is perfect timing for the pit stop. This will put the team right back in with a chance of a podium. Leaders have been in, and we're settling back to something like normality. A minute now is the gap between Scherer Sport PHX as Audi and the Herbert Motorsport Porsche. Looks like Caffer did a shorter stint there. He must be saving time for the end of the race. Herbert in second. Alfred Renard now trying to chase down the Audi, but the gap isn't coming down. In third, Haas RT. Mika Panu has handed the car back to Max Hofer. He's trying to hold off Charles Putman of CP Racing, and Hofer doing a good job here. And actually, he's just put the fastest lap of that car in. Heading into the final phase of the race, Red Ant Racing in the 903 Cup car have increased the margin to Neuhofer Rennsport. Almost a full lap now with 3 hours to go. 9 Elf Racing are at the head of GTX. Brilliant teamwork, flawless pit stops, good lap times, and a Porsche that has stayed reliable. That's what you need for success in an endurance race. In the GTTC class for TC and GT4s, it's been dominated by Holmgaard Motorsport from, well, even qualifying. Lead is unchanged. 1 lap ahead of Atlas in the Chrome GT4 AMG in 2nd position. And they, of course, lead GT4 as well. At the front of the field, it is only the strategy that keeps swapping the lead around. Share Sport, PHX and Herberth are not pitting at the same times. Strategy is king in endurance racing. Maybe a bit of luck with Code 60 could change this race. Robert Renard about to get into the 91 Porsche. Is this the last throw of the dice for Herberth, sitting in 2nd position? Meantime, at the other end of the pit lane, it's a disaster for the GTX class leader, 911 Racing. The Porsche has not fired up after a fuel stop. Oh my goodness me. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned reliability. That car's going back into the garage. RD Sainz then and the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo now lead in GTX. After 10 hours of racing, 3rd place is still up for grabs. CP Racing holding it at the moment in the red, white and blue Mercedes. Haas RT in the Audi sitting in behind. Down the long back straight. Share of PHX right in behind them as well. But that, of course, is a lap ahead. Here comes De Trey, has a look down the inside, but goes wide in the Haas car, and the CP machine peels off into the pit, so that will put Haas, for the moment at least, into 3rd position, and I think I saw the leader coming in as well. Herberth Motorsport still fighting for the victory. Robert Renard finally jumping out of the car. It will be Alfred who has to fight against the Share Sport PHX machine, which now has Pierre Caffer behind the wheel of the number 1. Elliot Earhart's just done a double. Drama for Holmgaard with an hour to go. Smoke coming out of the right rear wheel arch of the Cupra Leon competition. Something's gone wrong there. Is that a suspension failure? This is a disaster. Yes, it is. Code 60. Oh, my goodness. Just 45 minutes before the end of the race. The suspension's collapsed. And here's more drama. The Haas RT Audi with a problem at the left rear. Now, it's still got air in that Hankook tyre, so maybe just the bodywork rubbing. Oh, it was the BMW of Chicato Racing who clipped them. Mika Pano has not come into the pit. He'll have to do another full lap. Well, the team will be left with no time to get this car sorted. They're going to lose 3rd position, and now it won't start. Oh, my goodness. This couldn't be worse for Team Haas RT. CP Racing have gone through back onto the podium for the American team. Surely Mika Panu cannot make that time back. Just 20 minutes left. Oh, this is even worse. Problem on the outlap for the team from Antigua and Barbuda. They're going to drop down to the bottom of the top 10. Well, as we get towards the end of the race, victory and coveted trophies are within reach for the leaders. One award always is handed out before the checkered flag, and that's the Spirit of the Race Award. And this weekend, it's going to 911 Racing for their tireless motivation over the entire race event and overcoming so many challenges. Congratulations. Let's get back to the class leaders. In 992, Belgian Red and Racing team in the 903 Porsche Cup car in a very impressive top 10 overall finish. Will take the victory there. After the loss of 911, the GTX class will be taken by the 720 Lithuanian RD Sainz team. with their Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. They win by 13 laps. In GT4, the winner will also take the GT-TC class, and that is the Chrome 403 Atlas BX Motorsport AMG. They benefited from the late drop out of Hankook Motorsport, who are in the pits. They are not in the pits, they are leaving the pits. What am I saying? Unbelievable. Just before the end of the race, Hankook have sent out the Cupra back on the tracks. They'll be limping around just to finish the race and get some precious points for the series rankings. Great spirit. Herbert Motorsport have given it their all. They'll be second, and second to what must be considered a flawless race. The victory in this Monza Hankook 24-hour series race just a couple of corners away now for the German Scherer Sport PHX team. Super fast, consistent lap times. Never involved in anyone else's accidents. You can't ask for more. A deserved victory for the black and yellow Audi. Here's the checkered flag for Scherer Sport PHX.
Yeah, amazing, really, because we lost maybe 30 minutes before the end of the race because there was a code 16, was not good for us. But yeah, the guy there helped us, and the last 15 minutes was another code 60, and we can refuel 15 liters, and it was enough for the victory. Thanks a lot for everybody, for the team, for the whole job, for all the drivers, Michael and Pierre, and yeah, it's amazing, yeah.
It's Charles Esplanade who has the honour of bringing the CP Racing Mercedes to the checkered flag and to a superb third place.
You know, it feels really good. With the tire failure that we had when I was out there yesterday, all the ups and downs, we couldn't catch a break with the Code 60 to save our life over the last 2 days, and it's unbelievable to come together like this. So to be P1 in class and third overall it's just an amazing way to end the day. The competitors out there were unbelievably tough. Everybody was running so hard. I got to tell you, my last stint out there, I have never been that hot in a race car in a very, very long time. Even when Charles got out, all of us put 100% work in. Super proud of CP Racing. Everybody, the drivers did an amazing job. The AMG was a great car, but it was the crew. Did you see those pit stops? The pit stops are what made us today, that's for sure.
At least for those who are on the podium, here's the best part of the race, the prize giving. Trophies handed over, and of course the obligatory champagne shower. Congratulations to all the winners. Here are the final standings of the Hankook 12 Hours of Monza. Scherer Sport win by just under half a minute from Herbert in second. CP Racing on the third step of the box in third. Fourth place, BMW Italia TA2 Racing. Fifth, E2P Racing. Red Ant take the Cup class in sixth. Seventh, Kessel Racing's Ferrari. Neuhofer Rennsport into the top 8. The Hankook 12 Hours of Monza is over for this year. It was a race that meant the teams had to put it all on the table. Drama, heartbreak, deep disappointment, and of course, lots of speed. After 12 hours over 2 days, the overall lead swapped hands an incredible 21 times. The electrifying endurance racing series moves on to the far west of Europe, to the challenging Autodromo do Estoril in Portugal. Something new for that, a 6-hour qualifying race. I'm John Hindhaugh. See you there.